What does it mean that Rick George, because I've been talking to Darian and Chev, what's this mean right here, not for the program in totality, but Deion Sanders specifically?
I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with him staying or going. Does this increase the chance that he's not the coach? Probably. Probably. But I don't see him walking away from 50 plus million, and then he's got to deal with everybody pointing the finger and like, oh, well, he only had one good season and two losing seasons and he can't really coach, and all the narratives start going again. I think he wants to fix it, so I don't think he'll leave. Now, that said, is the next athletic director going to be as like loose to it as Rick was? Like Rick literally said, and he had to. We were in a very bad spot, and he was right to. I mean, look, hiring Coach Prime was and is a great thing for Colorado. So I think that the new AD and him have got to be on the same page. After thinking about this for a long time and texting back and forth with my boy, I couldn't get Bloom on the show because he knows I'm going to ask him hard questions, but I'd be hiring Jeremy Bloom right now to be the athletic director in Boulder. I know he's young. He's running the X Games right now. I mean, he's about as business savvy as they get. He's got a huge name. He knows everybody. He could definitely fundraise, and I think he's the kind of guy that could go in there as a young cat and mesh with Coach Prime and make sure that relationship is correct. But also there's the new athletic director has to have, and I'm not saying Rick didn't have this, but Rick was at the end of his athletic director journey, and he's retiring, obviously. And, he wanted to set CU up good for the future. He made a splash move. It worked. You can debate the first year and the third year, but overall, it's worked from a perspective of 1-11 in the worst program I've ever seen for a season to right now. So we're in a much better spot than we were. But there needs to be some kind of checks and balances and accountability moving forward from the new athletic director in order to really take this where I think it can go.
Let me ask you this.
Even the great coaches and great players have got to be held accountable and checked sometimes. I mean, just the Belichick, Brady, Montana and Bill Walsh, Shanahan and Elway, like Coach Prime and every coach he's ever played. I mean, no one's ever really been able to control him necessarily, but sometimes you just got to let him loose too. You can't really saddle a Mustang. So we'll see what happens here, but it's interesting. There's no doubt.
Let me ask you, give me your honest opinion. You kind of alluded to it. He's been there a long, long time. He's been there a long, long time, Rick George. I'm talking about Rick George. He's been there a long, long time. Are you, in your gut, though, your gut of guts, do you think he's leaving on his own terms? Not that someone's forcing him out. I mean, meaning that he's leaving because of all what comes with this job now with Deion and everything. Do you think he really wanted out, or do you think he's like, I got to get away from it?
Oh, no. Rick is just retiring and moving into a different era. He's been there forever. This was
fair. I know he's been there forever. So
this has been, I think that this even was on the table before they hired Prime, and they asked him to stay on to be the guy that fixed this rather than hiring a new AD to hire a new coach. So, and look, it worked, and he feels comfortable enough to step back and pass the keys off to somebody else. I keep saying it worked, and I don't want people to misconstrue this. I'm not happy with 3-7. I wasn't happy with 4-8. I think there's a lot of things in those two seasons that could have been done differently to almost flip the record, or at least make the team bowl eligible. So, again, there needs to be significant changes in Boulder. Coach Prime's not going to be one of them, but he's got to be the guy that institutes the change. Because if the offseason hits and the transfer portal hits, and I'm not saying they're going to be able to fix this problem with just high school recruiting. That's the long game, which I wish they would have been playing since day one, because their best players are high school recruits. If they go back into the portal and they just bring in another 50 mercs and they repeat the process, and it's let's double down and hire Byron Leftwich now. Let's double down and hire, Terrell Owens or something. Like, that's cool. That's cool, but is that solving the issue that we have at hand here, which I don't know if it is. So there's got to be some systemic changes from top to bottom and some changes in philosophy, and it's going to be some hard conversations, and egos need to be shelved. And this is another thing, and I'm using the media as a platform to talk about this because I think it's really important. And the more I've tried to talk about it behind closed doors and man-to-man, it's like I get pushed further away rather than closer. The sensitivity to any criticism or like a difference of opinion, I've never really seen it before. And like even the fan base and people are talking about it, like the fan base is split, nobody can talk to each other. It's the prime sexuals against the real Colorado fans when we're all in the same boat. There's a very sensitive layer up there to what's said, and look, it's hard to deal with the media and people that know what they're talking about when you're 3-7, but at the same time, to assume people don't care or like they're just attacking you when you're trying to just be constructive in your criticism as a coach in order to like move forward. That's something that both of you know as quarterbacks, Smitty as a defensive lineman. If we can't have hard talks and like as a coach, I can't get on your ass a little bit and motivate you and criticize what you're doing, but then give you the reason, give you how to fix it, and then expect you to go do it, then we're in trouble. We're in real trouble. So that needs to be something up there that is also addressed. But I think that there's a great opportunity here for Coach Prime and his staff and whomever is moving on this journey with him forward. There's a great opportunity to fix this problem too, and that's what I want to see. If they turn this around next year and they're a 9-3, 10-2 football team, and Juju is killing it, which if you protect this kid, I don't like even you, JB. You got to say that was pretty impressive for a first on the road at West Virginia, like with no and getting his ass beat, like that wasn't bad. We can build off that. Right?
Yeah, here's the issue, and I'll get Shaun's take. The issue I have is the lack of experience as the head coach because this kid should have been playing
from day one. I agree.
Your point, John, all of our points are. Yeah. Even Smitty said it earlier in the year, like, well, if you're going to – that's why from the timeout thing that Shaun's discussed, from the lack of experience on the staff, from all the time management stuff, like to me, that just shows you without your son, where you never think about replacing because he's your son, number one, and he's been with you forever as a starter, it now shows that I got to coach and get through and find the number one guy. I got to hit the right button, right, in this business. And it's shown that the lack of experience in that. But Shaun can deliver.
So let me ask both of you this. Shaun, more from a player perspective, and Coach, more from a coaching perspective. Who do you go get to put with Juju? Like, what? I'm not saying name necessarily, but type of coach. Obviously, the college guy. Like, who are we going to get to put with Juju to build the proper kind of college system around this kid and let him flourish? Because I think if you protect this kid, I mean, you watch some of the protection tapes I put up on the All-22, it is easy fixes, which is concerning to me because it's not really that difficult. And then they're running at one of these, they ran 8-man max protection with a receiver in, a tight end in, and a back end, and they still had 3 guys get to the quarterback. So if you protect this kid, I think he'll chop people up, but that's a big if up in Boulder. They got a lot to fix.
This is a long-winded answer potentially. I don't know that you get a big-time coordinator to leave where they're at to come to Colorado because of the uncertainty of how long Deion's going to be there. And the second thing is if you change systems now instead of Juju and Shermer, who got a better understanding and feel for each other, and I think he took play calling from Shermer, but it happens. Instead of them building upon all that this offseason and OTAs and meetings doing morning workouts and training camp, now you bring a new system in. Now Juju got to learn a whole new language, a whole new system. You know, that new guy got to get comfortable with who the pieces are, what are they good at. You know, so it's not necessarily an advancement to change systems, but here's my opinion, and you tell me what you think about this. I think Deion's going to resign.
Well,
he's going to blame health. He's going to say health. Him and Colorado are going to reach some kind of mitigated buyout. It's not for all the money if he got fired, but it's also not for any of the money, like if he was fired with cause. Because I'm just telling you, I think this is the first year that Deion has really been exposed to what coaching really is. Coaching different when your baby's there. Like, I got an extra motivation. I'm trying to make this thing right so that my babies get an opportunity to flourish. I got Travis there. He trying to win a Heisman. This is the first year he hadn't had that component. I truly think because of who Deion Sanders is and the lifestyle that he's lived, I don't know that he's looking at this like, man, this is something I'm willing to go through as a full rebuild, which is what Colorado is. So I'm telling you, I think there's going to be some kind of agreement reached after the season, and Deion's going to leave and go support Shador and support Travis and go back on TV and go back to being prime. And the era at Colorado is always going to be looked at favorably because he took something that had no cachet nationally and turned it into a destination spot as a brand. So that's always going to be looked at as he changed stuff there at Colorado. So it wasn't a failure. And I don't have no inside information, but just looking from the outside, I think that's what happens.
Matt, to answer your question, though, I want to answer your question. Let's say he stays. All things are perfect and he stays. I think he needs to make hard decisions as who the coordinator will be and get coaches that aren't just yes men, but also that understand protocol. I agree with that. To me, the guy that needs to go in there is a ass kicker and an asshole with the quarterbacks. And if he doesn't retain the position that he's currently in, which I don't think he's going to get, Bobby P needs to be the OC. He needs to reach out to Bobby Petrino and say, hey, dog, come in here. I'll leave you alone and get my offense cracking, because he will. And he's an asshole with quarterbacks, and he's going to hold his offense accountable. He's going to hold the O-line guy accountable. He's going to hold the wideout coach accountable. Bobby Petrino makes great sense because it's outside of Deion's comfort zone as to who the guy would be. He would be a total polar opposite, and he would be a guy that's a loud, barking asshole. And if Deion's willing to do that and just manage the whole group as a head coach, CEO, and the brand, I believe that's how this program grows. If not, I agree with Shaun. I think he leaves and exits gracefully.
Right quick, Matt, before you answer. Yeah. JB, here's my only pushback. Deion's a guy that played defense.
Yep, that's why I think he needs to stay.
So his exposure to whoever he would hire at OC will be based on somebody else's opinion, not a relationship that he actually knows what he's bringing in. And that's one of the issues sometimes for a guy that hadn't been a lifelong coach, is you got to take other people's opinions, right? He didn't know Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis was recommended to him.
Yeah.
Right? He went to Pat Shermer because that was the one guy on offense that he kind of had a relationship with that he'd known for a long time.
His daddy. Yeah.
So if you're going to move on now, it's just like, think about everybody in that building who's got a strong opinion about somebody like JB does with Petrino.
I think if you're going to be familiar too, if you want a guy like, I'm going to be honest, I'm just throwing it out there because we're good friends and everything, and Matt as well. But Chev makes a lot of sense.
Oh, Chevarini makes a ton of sense.
Chev makes a ton of sense. He's already called it there. He's been there as OC. He's been there as an interim head coach. He's got the experience. He's in the circle.
He's been there when we've been great. He's been there when we've been shitty. And he took the sword the last time we were shitty, and like they ran him out. And when I don't really think it was his fault. And
because to Shaun's point, you don't need a superstar either.
No, you need the right guy, not just a big name.
And
big names.
Chev loves the program, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, bro. Chev, he bleeds black and gold, bro. He would love to do that. And honestly, I personally think that they need to think a little bit bigger as well, which the Chevarini thing makes sense in this regard as well. I don't really like the coach and waiting thing, but I do like the idea.
It fits.
Bringing in somebody and he's here for 2 or 3 years, and then when Prime does leave, you're just elevating Coach Chev to the head coaching position. He's already been there. He knows the guys. He's interwoven in the community and in the recruiting, and nothing really stops. The train just keeps rolling. And in some instances, a lot of the time, like look at Mike Norvell and Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. He just kept the party going. Like they've been excellent since Norvell left. Look at what Urban Meyer and Winningham did it at Utah. Urban left and Kyle took over, and 23 years later, they got 7 conference championships and they're Utah. So There's tons of examples like that. I think it would be awesome. I think that a lot of CU fans are going to hear that and go, "Oh, we don't want to repeat that." But I would ask you to look at the situations because they're different. Very similar to like when Vance Joseph was the head coach of the Broncos and it didn't work out, but then he came back as the DC and it's been perfect and a great marriage. So yeah, I think that would be a good fit. Again, though, you said something that's very revealing here, and I want to reiterate the yes man has to go. Like the yes man in Boulder that is constantly to Coach Prime's right and left that are always guarding him. And I don't think he needs to be guarded. I don't think he's as sensitive as the fan base and some of the people around him. I think he's a pretty tough-minded dude. I think he's going to stay there and like try and fix everything that's happened. There's a bubble around Coach Prime up there and in the castle that is extremely. I don't think that the yes man thing is a positive. We'll just put it like that.
What's interesting, Matt, what's interesting, that's not a Colorado thing though. That's college football coaching in general.
What, just yes men everywhere?
Man, yeah, man. I'm telling you, like having coached college football, a lot of times these guys don't hire the best possible candidate. They hire the person they're familiar with. It's not going to go against what they believe schematically. It's not going to push back on, the recruiting coordinator that's his buddy that don't have no idea what the hell he's doing. Like a lot of these staffs are built like that. Deion just happens to be high-profile guys.
So his is just public. That's what you're saying.
Because he hired Warren Sapp and Marshall Falk and George Heckman. Those, but man, JB will tell you, a lot of these staffs are the same way. They got their homeboys on the staff.
Even NFL, Matt, you know that. Fucking look at the quarterback.
Look, I understand that people hire their buddies, but I also understand that if we were all in a staff room together, and Smitty's the D-line coach, and I'm the O-line coach, and Shaun's the OC and the quarterback coach, and he runs the offense, and coach is the coach, and you run everything. If I don't agree with something we're doing, I'm not just going to sit there and say, "Oh, yes, sir." Like that's what I'm talking about. Like, just because we're boys, do you really think that there's
and man, because
that's fucking crazy.
Because of our relationship, we could have an actual debate on how to block duo versus odd. And you could be adamant and passionate about this, and I could be like, "No, we're not doing it like that." And JB will be like, "Well, okay, I hear what y'all saying. This is how we're going to do it." And it wouldn't be no hard feelings in the room.
We just move on.
But that ain't how coaching profession is. Like I'm telling you, if you ever become a coach and your OC wants to block duo a certain way versus odd, and you get up and you argue against it, you will never get another job with anybody that knows that OC in the remainder of your collegiate coaching career. Like that's how sensitive they are.
This is exactly why my big ass is running my own business.
Hey, Matt, but here, Matt, this was before Smitty moves on. This was crazy though. We hire guys that will not bark back for that reason right there alone. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about anyway. So then they know the guy that hired him knows that'll never be a debate or discussion on the board because he don't know what the fuck he's talking about anyway. He's just my guy. So Matt knows offensive line. So Matt will say, "Coach, I'm gonna be honest, respectfully, man, I think we're missing a hat. We're a hat short here." And then we get on the board and discuss it. We yell, whatever we do, but that's how staffs work. And then afterwards we come to an agreement. Because I, as a head coach, I'm not gonna just leave the room and my O-line coach feels a certain way and I just shitted on him. But I also got to say, hey, man, look, I've called enough offense. I fuck the extra hat. We'll just let the running back win a scholarship and have to beat him one-on-one or whatever the discussion. There's so many nuances. Right now, I think the Colorado building is quiet after Deion talks. There's no more discussion because these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing anyway. So that's where I'm at with it. That's all I'm saying.